Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are new. Hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Getting right into today's video, I'm starting off by sharing my new nail art brushes that I purchased from Makartt. These are from Amazon and you will find the link in the description box, so make sure to check that out. It comes with number 1, 2, and 3. This is the exact same set that I purchased 5 years ago and I've been using the entire time. However, they were giving up on me, so I went ahead and bought a new set. These are just in different colors. So the pink one is technically the one that I have gravitated towards using the most throughout the 5 years. Now getting into today's tutorial, I am actually going to be doing strictly nail art in today's video. It is a very long process as I am doing very intricate design for today. That being said, I did do a fill on my nails off camera. If you are interested in seeing that process, you are more than welcome to look at any of my previous videos to see that. However, like I said, this is going to be focusing just on the nail art. And I also did want to mention before I get into it that this is my first really intricate nail art design that I am creating, and I really wanted to document it so we can see how much I can grow. I really want to get into more in-depth, intricate, crazy looking nail art. So this is the beginning of it and I wanted you guys to come along this crazy journey with me. So I'm going to be basically explaining my entire thought process while creating nail art, especially with tons of shading and all of that. For today's video, I am going to be using the Profiles Backstage gel paints. They have quickly become my favorite. I'm going to be using a ton of their colors along with mixing a bunch of them together to create our own custom colors specific to this design. So getting started, I am using one of the liner brushes that I showed you in the beginning. This is the white one. I am using that to just sketch out and do the outline of Freddy for my middle finger. So to do so, I am using the black gel paint and I am just carefully drawing that out. I'm honestly not trying to be super careful because for the most part, it will be fully covered. Not only that, but I can go in and fix the line if I need to at the end. Now, once I'm done doing that outline, I did go ahead and fully cure, and then now I am going in and creating our skin tone. To create the skin tone, I basically took Latte from the gel liner collection from Profiles Backstage. Then I grabbed some of their orange and red. Now I just quickly mixed it on my little tile, and as you can see, there are some of the colors and tones coming through that nude color. This is done on purpose. If you are familiar with his face, it is very messed up, and so I wanted to quickly create that sort of different color in the skin tone very quickly. So I'm not fully mixing those colors together. I'm using it to my advantage for the design. Now I went ahead and cured that fully as well. And now I'm going in the eyes. We are using the white gel paint and just carefully infilling the eye area. And then we're going to be creating the little details with blue and black. Now throughout this video, you will see me alternate from brush to brush, just depending on what size I need and the thickness that I need. For example, for the skin tone, I did use my 3D nail art brush. That is also from Amazon. And because it is a lot thicker, it allows me to paint a bigger surface a lot quicker. So I definitely recommend you guys have a good collection of nail art brushes that you have readily available to use for any type of design. Now I am taking the blue gel paint from Profiles and doing the eye color, and then I'm going to be quickly outlining that with black. And I've also gotten tons of questions on how I clean my brushes when doing nail art, especially like this that I'm alternating from different colors. I honestly grab a napkin or a lint-free wipe, whatever I have there accessible to me, and I just pinch the bristles and wipe it off. It is not being wet. It is not adding any product to clean it, I'm just taking that dry paper towel or lint-free wipe and just quickly cleaning it. There will still be a little bit of color left behind if you don't do it properly. However, for me, it has never affected the design that I'm doing. And if I am really needing to switch, say, from black to white, I will add a little bit of alcohol or some swipe from Young Nails and just quickly clean the bristles with that. Now that we have the base down, we are going in with all of the crazy details that are going to bring this character to life. Now, as you can see, I did draw kind of that little crease area with a really dark, almost black color. And then I'm taking my 3D nail art brush. It is dry, free of any product, and I am using that to blend out that pigment that I just placed on the nail. That is probably the easiest way to create shadows or blend out a color. It's going to do it very effortlessly as long as you are careful. There's not much to it, honestly. Now I'm adding a little bit of detailing to the nose. Again, taking that brush and kind of fixing up any areas that I feel need to be fixed. If I need to do so, I am just taking that nude color that I used for the skin and using that to quickly blend out whatever I need to be fixed. Now I'm switching back to my white liner brush, adding some details on the nose just to kind of darken up the details. And then we're going to be doing a ton more shading on the nose. So I'm going to be taking some white and mixing it with the nude color to highlight parts of the nose. And then I'm taking white and black with a little bit of that nude color to give a ton of shadow underneath the nose as well. And then again, I'm adding the bulk amount of product on wherever I'm working, and then I'm taking a dry brush and really blending it out to remove that harsh detailing. I feel like that kind of gives it a ton more of the realistic look, if that makes sense. And then now I'm taking some red, very light amount, and adding it to the nose to kind of give it some of that bloody effect. Again, like I mentioned, I'm taking the black, white, and some of that nude color, blending it out underneath the nose. And then I realized that it needed to be a lot darker. So I'm taking the black and then I'm adding that still to the wet gel that I placed. And then I'm just going to lightly blend that out. Now for a lot of this, I am not curing in between each little detail that I'm adding just because I honestly am completely doubting myself at this point. And whenever I'm not sure if something's going to turn out good, but the base is good, I want to make sure that it's still wet so that I'm able to essentially erase it off of the nail and start from scratch. So a lot of it is me working wet. And honestly, because the colors have to be blended very nicely together, it being wet just works to my advantage. So I did want to let you guys know that I am not curing in between every single detail. And now we're going in with red and just adding that around the eye and bringing out a lot of that gruesome detailing that he has on his face. At this point, I'm going to be adding the rest of the little detailing with my liner brush and then doing a ton of blending out wherever it is necessary. And then we're going to be going in with all of the textured feel to the face. Once I'm done with all the shadows and shading to the face, I am going in with red. I did add a little bit of black in there just to darken it up very, very lightly and really give that like bloody feel. And then I'm just gonna start using my brush in a very light sketching motion and adding that onto the face. And then we're bringing that down on the neck, and then I'm going to be taking some of that red, mixing it with brown and making it just like a darker shade, and I'm going to be adding that in some parts of it as well. And now we're going back in with our black and adding some shading underneath the neck. Again, adding a pretty opaque layer of that paint where I'm going to be creating the shadows. And then I'm taking my dry 3D nail art brush and using that to blend it out. All of the paint underneath this is dry, so you really get the grasp of how it works when working with dry brush. And I just love doing shadows and adding that. It just brings the image so much more into life. Now again, we're going back in with our nude, and this is really where I'm focusing on adding that texture to his skin. And I'm kind of going over some of the red spots as well and just really swirling it across his face. And you can use different shades of that nude, some dark, some lighter, to really bring that out as well. Now we're going in with white paint and adding the teeth. The good part about his teeth is that they are so messed up that you do not have to be perfect at all whatsoever. So I'm basically just blobbing some white on there, making some sharp, some broken, some missing. So I'm doing the top ones and then the bottom ones and kind of just eyeballing where I can place them randomly. Now, unfortunately, I did do his face a little bit on the large side, so I wasn't able to really bring the detail into his hat. So in my opinion, honestly, I feel like it just looks like he's wearing a beanie, and there was really no way around it. I thought how I can fix it. However, he's just gonna be wearing a beanie in today's design. So I'm adding the outline first in black, and then I'm gonna be infilling the rest of my nail near the cuticle with that color. Now for his sweatshirt, I am going to be using kind of like a messed up type of feel to it. Because it is a knitted sweater, I figured I would just do kind of like stroke motions on the nail and use that as the detailing. I'm not honestly finishing this out like super intricate just because I want the focus to be on the face. So I started off with an outline of black and then I'm using green. I did mix the green with a little bit of black just to deepen it up a little bit. And then don't come at me, you guys, but I definitely, for whatever reason, thought his shirt was green and purple. It is in fact not. It is green and red. So I was looking at it once I finished and I thought it didn't look right. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's red, not purple. So I did go ahead and fully cure that before going in back in with the red. So it is fully cured. I'm taking red and going over top of the purple, doing the exact same sort of feel to it and fixing that flaw. Now for our ring finger, we are doing Jason, and if you are familiar, it's basically just a mask. So I'm starting off with an outline, again just with black gel paint, not being perfect with it, just using this as a basic outline. Once I'm done doing the outline, I am going to be adding the eye area. I figured this would just be easier than painting it all white and then going in with the black. So I'm going to be doing 2 circles and then just infilling that with the black gel paint, curing it in the light, and then we're going to be going in with all of the detailing. Now grabbing my 3D nail art brush once again, because it is a lot thicker and it's going to cover more surface a lot quicker, I'm taking white gel paint, and then I realized that it was just way too white, and because I was going to be adding tons of colors in there to really make it look like the mask, I went ahead and mixed up some gray, and we're going to be using that with the white and basically doing the same effect that we did on my middle finger to really bring out the detail of the mask with tons of different shades of white and gray. Once I'm done with my base, and as you can tell, you can see a lot of the paint strokes from my brush, which is really helpful when it comes to this type of design. Now I'm taking a darker gray and we're going to be adding that to add tons of depth to that mask and lots of shading to bring out the really messed up look of the mask. If you do see images of it, it just looks really beat up and messed up, so we want to add that to the detailing. Now to add a little bit of depth in the eyes, I just added some of the gray as well to lighten some areas and darken others. And then I'm just kind of quickly mixing it. Basically the darker gray stays near the bottom and the top area of the eye is a lot deeper. And I feel like it just adds that depth that a realistic mask will have. I'm going to be carefully drawing out that nose area, and it's just essentially a little bit more raised. So I'm starting off with a very thin line of darker gray, kind of going around the eye because we're going to be doing some shading there as well, and then bringing it down to create the look of the nose area. So to really try to mimic the feel of a real mask, I'm adding some darker shades to the sides of the nose, and then we're going to be highlighting the center or the higher area of the nose with a little bit of white to give it more of that realistic feel to it. And I'm just quickly going to add the little hole for the nose just with black. And then I'm going to be adding shading as well, again with darker shades of gray and a dry 3D nail art brush. Now I'm going in with my white and really highlighting the top of the nose. And you will notice that I realized the nose was just a little bit too long for the proportions of the mask. So this is kind of why I say that a lot of the time I will not cure in between detailing like this. So I could just quickly erase it, start all over, fix the issue. So I went ahead and placed it on there, and that's when I realized that it didn't look right. It just looked really, really long and really skinny. So I'm taking a cleanup brush and I'm just removing that, erasing it, deleting, and starting all over to fix it to my liking. So I'm basically just erasing the bottom of it to shorten it up, and then we're going to be creating the details again just to fix it up a little bit. Now that I'm a little bit more content with the nose, I'm going back in and recreating the shading that I originally created. And then we're going to be adding a lot more of the darker tones around the mask as well. Now taking the smallest detail brush, I am going to be creating the crack across the eye. And to do so, I'm taking some black gel paint and I'm basically shaking my brush very gently to kind of create that cracked effect versus just one straight solid line. And then I'm going to be doing another one across the opposite way, kind of creating an X. Same sort of kind of wiggling motion on that line to give it a little bit more of the realistic look. And then I'm taking my cleanup brush and I'm basically using that to blend out one of the sides to make it really look like it's an actual crack and deepen it up very gently. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going back in with the liner brush and adding a darker line to that crack. I'm going to be adding the holes to the face mask and basically in the pattern that I got off of the image. Bear with me, I did not have a dotting tool inside. I honestly didn't have anything that I can use that was small enough to do these dots. So I am winging it with my liner brush. It was very hard, I'm not gonna lie. So make sure you guys have dotting tools available to you guys. I was filming this at my house, so I didn't have any with me. So I'm just going to go ahead and carefully draw those out across the entire mask. Now taking some red gel paint, I'm going to be adding the red detailing on the mask. Now for this step, I am using the smallest amount of paint on my brush to really help give character to the mask. If you're familiar with it, it's really beat up, it's really messed up, it's scratched all over, the paint is coming off. So whenever you have a drier brush, it's going to paint only small portions of wherever you put your brush on. So that's essentially what I'm using as part of the detailing. And then we're gonna be curing that in the light. Now because this is a mask, I went ahead and added the top of his head so you can see the mask on the face. And then I'm adding a neck for the skin tone. Again, I just used Latte from Profiles Backstage, mixed a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red into it. And then I'm just carefully drawing that neck. And then we're going to be adding the detailing in the mask so that it really looks like it's on his head. And now I'm adding some of that shading underneath his neck as well. And then I'm going to be doing the shirt on him with basically the same effect that I did with Freddy, and kind of leave it unfinished so that they go well together. Now for his shirt, I'm taking some green and I mixed it with a little bit of brown so that it's a lot more of a deeper tone. And I'm just basically going to be drawing out the collar with my 3D nail art brush. Honestly, not being perfectionist about it because I am going to be blending out a lot of it. So I'm doing one side and then the other side as well. And then taking my other brush, I'm going to be blending that out so that it looks kind of faded out. I'm just taking my detail brush once again and kind of outlining the top of the collar just to kind of give it a little bit more shape to the shirt. Now for my thumb, index, and pinky, we're going to be doing some blood splatter. Now to prep my nail, I am putting Matte It from Not Polish as my base. I do want the blood splatter to be shiny, so I'm going in with matte first. And I did want to mention that I am not top coating my middle finger and my ring finger, the ones with the crazy nail art, because I just was scared that the detail was going to go bye-bye. And a lot of it with these is the texture. I feel like that just brings it to life so much better. So I'm not top coating it, and we will let this be an experiment to see how well my nail art lasts on there without top coat. These gel polishes do cure very shiny, so I feel like that's gonna help it stay on there. I don't know, that's kind of my thought process. Now using my little splatter hack and a jelly polish from Profiles Backstage, it is in the shade Deep Red, I'm going to be creating the blood splatter. So I'm just taking my fishnet, bunching it up, dipping it in that jelly polish, and splatting it on the surface of the nail. Because I want it shiny, I'm also just going to be removing the tacky layer and letting it be shiny with its own shine of the polish without top coating it again. It would be extremely hard to top coat just that splatter, if you ask me. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly create that. That basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a ton. I will definitely be doing this again. I feel like Freddy needs a little bit of a do-over. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.